Are you a gamer? In today's How to Slice, we're going to be checking out some awesome accessories to spice up your setup. So let's start. This is a skull headphone holder. As you can see, this is a really nice model. I just opened up the model over here in Prusa Slicer. And as you can see, it's a two-part print. Both of the models are not gonna fit in a single build plate, so it's recommended to print in multiple plates. So you're gonna have to print first off the fabric cover and then the skull. By doing this, you can print the skull in white and the fabric cover in black, so you can get a multicolor print in a single color printer. So first off, for the fabric cover, as you can see, this model does not need any support. This is a model that can be printed without any support because it's optimized for printing. As you can see, this region right here is at an angle, so you do not need to generate support because your printer can do this overhang. As you can see, it's got a good contact to the surface. It's a really tall print, but it will fit in most standard printers. So let's see the best print settings for this model. So over here in layers and perimeters, over here in layer height, we can be increasing the layer height of the fabric cover to 0.24 millimeters. By doing this, we're gonna print a little bit quicker this model part. By increasing the layer height, every layer is gonna be a tiny bit bigger, so your printer is gonna print this model quite fast, and you're gonna still get a good printing quality. You do not need to leave at 0.2 because this model you're gonna have a really good quality 0.24 millimeters. As this is a really big model, you're not gonna be able to see those tiny lines, those tiny print lines. So 0.24 millimeters is enough. As for vertical shelves, you can leave it at 3 or increase to 4 to get a more rigid model part. Over here in infill, we're going to be increasing to 15% and leaving it at gyroid. As you can see, actually we do not need to enable ironing because the topmost surface of this skull, the fabric cover, is not rounded, so you do not need to enable ironing. Over here is skirt and brim, we do not need because we got a good bed adhesion. And as for support material, you do not need any support material because it's optimized for printing. That's really nice with STL Flix models. As for speed, you do not need to reduce the speed. It does not have critical overhang, so you can leave the printing speed at the default that the slicer offers for your printer. Okay, so let's go and let's see. Let's slice this model. So I just sliced the model, and as you can see, it's gonna take 2 days and 1 hour to print. It's gonna print perfectly fine. This is a really nice model. And let's see the skull. So as for the skull model, as you can see over here, this is a really nice model. This is really pretty and it connects to the fabric cover. So as you can see, there are multiple facets like right here to print. So which one is the best? Let's see the best orientation to print this skull. As you can see, this angle over here that the skull is, it can print, but it's an angle that's really close to the it's really low angle, so sometimes this print can tend to leave some scars under this piece right here, and you might be able to see, as this is rounded over here, you might be able to see some layers over here, as it would need ironing. if we did not wanted to use any support. Let's see if we can orientate this piece so we do not need to use any support. Another way we can select it's by this facet right here, and as you can see, this angle right here is still a critical angle that your printer is gonna have to print. And another facet that I find interesting to print is this one. So as you can see, the piece is gonna look more vertical. The angle right here is increased, so your printer is it's gonna be easier for your printer to print this angle, so you do not need any support right here, and will not need ironing because the printer is gonna print from down below up to the chin right here, the teeth of the skull, and will not need ironing because the topmost surface is not rounded, and in rounded topmost surface you need ironing because it's gonna leave it's gonna be apparent the gaps between layers. So this way you do not need any ironing, and it's an angle that your printer can print better without any support. The only area that I would add a little bit of support is right here, but you do not need. Your printer can do this overhang in the assembly part right here. I would recommend to print in this orientation. But as you can see, this is it's got a really small contact area to the bed plate. As you can see, this area would have a lot of contact to the build plate as to this one. So we're gonna need a little bit of rim and reduce a little bit the printing speed. But I do recommend this orientation. You could print in all of the orientations that this skull provides, but this is the one that I recommend the most because it's gonna turn out a really nice quality. As it does not need any support, I am gonna paint some support right here just to make sure, and reduce a little bit of the speed just to make sure that the print goes well. So let's go over here to print settings. So over here in layer height, we're going to be increasing to 0.22 millimeters. This is a big piece, so we're going to be increasing to 0.22 millimeters just so we can print a little bit quicker, and it's not going to change too much on the resolution. As for infill, we're going to be increasing to 15%, and gyroid, skirt and brim, we're going to be giving a little bit of a brim because it's a really tall piece and it's got a low contact area to the build plate. So we're going to be selecting 10 millimeters of brim. This is enough, outer brim only. This is enough to hold the part and increase the bed adhesion to the table. As for support material, you can generate support material. Let's go to style organic, and we're gonna be painting a little bit of support, just this region right here. We can go to paint on support, add just a little bit of support. Let's increase the brush size and just paint on some support right here. It's going to be a really low support, and you could print this without any support. I'm just setting up some support just to make sure that it turns out great, but you can print without support because as you can see, the printer can do this overhang because it's really short. It's a really, if the printer is going to do an overhang from here to here, it's a really short overhang. So the printer can do, but I'm just going to be selecting, just putting on some support just to get a good quality. So you can be clicking on paint support, and we're back. This is the best tips that I can offer for this skull, and the fabric cover. Let's see how it's gonna turn out the print. Let's just slice. So as you can see, I just sliced. So the model is over here ready to print. It's gonna take 9 hours and 55 minutes on your standard Ender 3v3. I would suggest just to reduce the speed, all of the values to 50 or 60 millimeters a second, because this is a tall print, and just reduce a little bit of the speed so the print doesn't fall over. But as you can see, I find really important to take a look at the best orientation to print the model. Make sure, try out all the facets and see the best one for each model. It's always crucial to know the best orientation because it's gonna help a lot in the end result. So as you can see, it's gonna turn out really nice. The brim is gonna add just a little bit of an area to hold on to the bed table, and I just added a little bit of support right here. Your printer would be able to do the overhang, as you can see over here. It would do an overhang, see? But I recommend just putting on support just to make sure that it turns out really nice and the assemble parts fit perfectly without any loose layers. So as you can see, it's gonna print perfectly fine. Then you can just assemble and set up in your desk. It's gonna turn out, it's gonna increment your setup in a whole lot. It's gonna look really pretty. So the model is ready to print. Make sure you check all the models from this drop, and we got a bunch of other models in stlflix.com. So I hope you like these tips, and see you later.
I hope you guys enjoy it. Those slicing videos are an initiative from STL Academy, which is the educational project from STL Flix. So if you guys want to learn more about 3D printing, you could check our description and look at STL Academy courses. And don't forget, see you guys at the next slicing.